Hello, everybody, to Catalyst Town Hall, breakout room, and mini proposal workshop retrospective. And today we are going to give a closing report in a raw live format and have a bit of discussion how this project went and the experience we all had together. So let's start with sharing it. The report. We submitted a mini proposal workshop under Fund 9 challenge and scouted for students. The challenge questions was, how can we provide student entrepreneurs with a place to appeal their ideas to the world and the opportunity to connect with engineers? Our approach was to implement workshops that help participants ideate on proposals and effectively communicate the proposal objectives to the voters. We requested $5,000 to create a workshop format, educational material, and run public workshops. First, we started creating the workshop format. Once we had the format, we tested it and created a standalone introduction videos for each workshop chapter. After that, the educational material, after we have created the educational material, we introduced the concept in Catalyst community and started coordinating to go through chapters with one idea in mind. It was quite difficult to find contributors this time around, so we tried many different experiments where and how to onboard members into workshops itself. And in my opinion, we found a practical approach by coordinating events with different existing events like town halls or Kimba Labs playground, which changed our strategy because the fund then was delayed, and this changed our KPIs where we were tracking. What we did track was the participation feedback and video results. It appears that it was more challenging for participants to participate in our earlier sessions, but over time and overall, the participants felt quite optimistic about the workshops and the lessons they learned from them. Our best video was overview video with over 200 views, but for the rest of the template, it averages around 20 views. It gave us quite a nice insight what topics are people most of the time interested. So like problem ideation was something that was looked more than like how to rename stakeholders or taxonomy. I was amazed that hour-long workshop videos actually got more impressions and reviews compared to the templates themselves. So it seemed like there is a demand to see how people are doing stuff, not just not explaining how to do it. The main achievements I will point out is that actually to complete workshops, that we actually completed the workshops with community covering all the necessary topics. I would thank everyone who participated and contributed to these workshops. And now I would go into showing slightly what we did. I will showing the mini proposal project management board here, where our team is coordinating, adding tasks and activities and plans. And on the left side, you can see this Fund 10 section. This is the entire content we created all this time, and there will be retrospective, this video we are doing right now, also included into this. On the top, you will find all of these new chapters and presentations and introduction to each of the chapter. Then also a test run around like mini proposal workshop templates themselves. Then we do some alignment and introduction sessions to kind of introduce what we have we'll be doing, and then a lot of videos about the content. At the start, it was quite long videos, like 2 or 3 hours even, but with the video editing has been kind of made it so it's more compact and like easier to watch and chapterized, so we can switch between content. And another Miro board we worked on is the content itself when we started running the workshop, where we started with like a huge idea, we brainstormed, we scoped it down, and we looked into all of these chapters and kind of captured some ideas and ideated basically on all of the aspects around the proposal itself. And finally, the most important, in my opinion, or well, the starting point would be the workshop template. So where you can grab the template yourself and start using it. And you can see 42 people have copied that. And so I hope all of those who have liked it or copied them has found some use for this. Yeah, for that would be the closing report. And now to the retrospective part, I would be interested to hear what does Tõnis, what did you learn through this experience, and what did you like about this project?
Hello guys, I am the video editor. By the way, thank you, Tevo. You already mentioned some points I wanted to tell about the videos. But some things I wanted to say, for example, what I liked about the project is, like you mentioned, that this time we focused on a single topic. I mean, focused on a single proposal and we completed all the chapters. So that was a new thing for us. Finally, we completed all the chapters and we have video proof. Compared to the last funds where we just made through like a couple of topics with different people, but we never finished it. I also I liked about the project that in the end it felt like the shorter sessions are more essential, because they are not only are they easier to edit for me, but I feel like they're also better for the participants and viewers to digest. One thing which felt like a progress for me in video editing is that I built more trust with you guys. So when I timestamped and cut out the filler in videos, you didn't have to check every part. So I just did the work, and I hope it turned out like good.
I should certainly like the output you provided. And another team member we had is Caue. And do you want to share what you liked about this project and what you did? And
hello, everyone. What I like about this project is, with the absence of Catalyst School, we had at least something for people to learn, even though they didn't join the workshops itself. Material were made available. Under this analysis, Tevo, the cool down period had impact, and you see this throughout the whole ecosystem. So when we think about outreaching communication, we had everything placed, the system was in place, but the lack of interest, I think, in my opinion, wasn't because they didn't want to participate in the workshop or anything like that. It's because we had in the near horizon, we didn't have any plans for the launch of F10 while we were making the workshops. So people changed focus. I think this is the main reason of low attendance, lower views. And also what Tony said, the shorter video had the most access and impressions. If I cannot share the screen, but in the analysis of your playlist, we had the total 928 views. That's 38 hours of watch time of your playlist. Average view duration is 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So what I think, people, the most watched video was those introductory videos that you recorded explaining templates, so forth and so on. Like you said, I didn't have access to the Miro Board data, but I believe the template was accessed and used, even though people wasn't really engaging in workshop or YouTube. And as you said, they were hands-on the work. And in my opinion, Tevo, if you continue these mini proposal workshops, we should disregard these cool down period workshops, go back as in Fund 8 and beginning of the Fund 9, and use those metrics, because the cool down period was an outlier in the curve. It brings the average completely down. So this proposal that we have, I think for metrics, as you said, KPIs changed and everything, but for metrics of planning the future, as it's an outlier, I don't think it should be considered. That being said, also, Tony said, shorter contents bring more engagements. So even though we have like 2 hours workshop, we should find a way to cut each chapter in shorter videos, so people can go straight to the point when they are searching, and they see this cut of the video. At the end of the like retrospective time frame, the end of all chapters, we could upload the whole video and make them available. That is my opinion. And just for this, the traffic source, not to take too much time, we had top of the line for YouTube. We brought people first from Twitter, then incredible Google search, Tevo, deal work, YouTube itself, then Discord, Chrome app, what I don't know what that means. Discord, Telegram, even WhatsApp. We had 4 shares in WhatsApp. Go figure. And the Cardano forum is way in the bottom. It's like we had 3 people that link. That's probably you, me, and Tõnis that was checking the links in the thread.
No, I know that at least one person joined there, because one had a medical shift and it was, oh, mini proposal version. I found it on forum. So
great. If you bring one person, that's already a goal achieved. The rest is just suggestions I put in report, considering this outlier data that we collected. And the conclusion, overall, our data-driven evaluation has provided valuable insights into the success of our marketing strategy and the reception of the mini proposal workshops. With these insights and recommendation strategies in place, we are all equipped to refine our future market efforts, improve engagement, and increase viewership for the mini proposal workshop playlist, considering short sessions, the suggestion of editing those cuts and uploading the whole chapter afterwards. I always have a point of contact, which is the Miro Board for us in this particular case, and the cross promotion, like you do, using already established events to outreach, gather community in that particular event to participate in your workshop. Even though town halls are all about catalyst, people might be a CA, a PA, a VPA, or any other role, but not actually a proposer. And I think this cross promotion, when we go to those events and not expect people to come to us, is important because we can show there's a possibility. So the person won't say, oh no, milestones, I have to report everything. We can show it simple. That was my input. I'd like to congratulate the team, great effort. And thank you, Kurt, for your amazing AI input.
Thanks, Caue, for the insight and your view on this. I will quickly go share about course management, like the way this time, because we have been doing it before. So what changed was basically we looked at the Fund 9 expectation and all the feedback I gathered in previous rounds, and I tried to incorporate everything, basically all the ideas they had and like models we should choose into this kind of program. So sometimes there were experiments that didn't maybe work out, but it's still, we needed that practice to know what is the effect. And regarding project management, I think that was fabulous. We didn't have to do too much. Like at some point, we didn't even do meetings because we were able to asynchronously just do stuff because we had that practice over time, and that made it very easy to actually manage this project while there were so many things, even though Catalyst is down, there was the community still engaging and doing stuff a lot. And yeah, many thanks to Curtis, who were actually been part of this entire process and struggling through. So my first question for you will be that the problem we set out was quite large. What you think about the way we chose to select new problems statement related to one we started up with? So, and to remind, we started up with disseminating and documenting meetings are time-consuming activities. And then we ended up with the problem statement, open source DAO platforms that use AI are not being integrated with each other. So where do you think it was fair to change it like that, or and where you, or and if yes, and did you find it like helpful and useful, or that kind of derailed your own thoughts?
No, I think the direction that we took to arrive at the new problem statement, it's how I operate, is kind of how I function. So it seemed, natural for that to happen. We started out with one problem statement, and when we moved into the solution statement, kind of realized, well, we need to break this apart and figure out what the dependencies are. And I feel like it was just because the community was there and because we had participants there to voice their opinion, it was no longer an echo chamber, and we were able to say, okay, to get to this goal of managing meetings and so on and so forth, we actually want to build that in a decentralized fashion. We want the community to tell us, what they need, what their needs are, and how they manage their meetings and so on and so forth. So to get to that goal, we then readdressed it and said, well, then how do we collaborate? How do we take these open source communities or different projects and get them to collaborate together? And that's what turned into the new problem statement. So just for the viewers watching here, the way I took the process was we started out with the problem statement and then moved into the solution statement, went back to the problem statement and probably did that 2 or 3 times, iterations, until we finally arrived there. For me, that feels pretty natural. I don't know if there's a better way to approach it. I think in our particular case, it was a bit unique because of the scope of the original problem statement. But I don't know if, kind of get your guys' feedback, if there's any way to reduce that friction in the start to arrive at the problem statement, maybe trying to merge a little bit of the problem statement and the solution statement ideology, just so that you're kind of going through that process in the first stage. But for me, it felt very smooth. And to me, it got us closer to what we actually needed to build.
Yeah, That's good that you weren't like, yeah, how to say, like negative feeling about it. Now I started with this idea and this is why I joined in, and it got directed and pulled somewhat even apart, I would say. But then another question would be, we had quite a lot of sessions in different days and times. This did not make it easy to participate in all sessions. What are your thoughts about the information that was added to the Miro board in the sessions where you were not present? Has the quality information changed also?
It was difficult for the few sessions that I didn't attend. It was kind of difficult to catch up or get on the same page as where it was going. So I did have to really watch the recordings to see what was talked about, and because a lot of what goes into the Miro is shorthand, or it's summaries of what's being discussed, during the meeting. So some of the context around those thoughts are not, in Miro, and that, you can't really include that anyways. It's a difficult task. So I did have to rewatch a lot of the recordings to catch up. It was a bit of a challenge to maintain my calendar, my schedule, purely because I just didn't know, like, it would have made life a lot easier for me, at least, if there was a calendar and I could subscribe to that calendar, and then every single event just shows up on my calendar and I don't have to like do anything. And I felt bad for reaching out to you, Tevo, constantly. When's the next meeting? When's it again? What's going on? That to me, I didn't want to reach out to you, and that, I think hurt my presence as well. So that's just my 2 cents.
Yeah, and oftentimes the time zone was like totally different, where you were like 4 a.m. at night for you, so couldn't even join all of the ones. Yeah, and okay, but do you feel like the quality was changed, or you can't really like share, or like, because you said you are looking at retrospectively, but did these sessions kind of help you get on more? Did you feel like they were on point, or you were like, okay, they are now totally derailing when I'm not here at all?
There were some moments where I felt not that it wasn't valuable, or that the insight provided wasn't valuable. It was that maybe I just didn't fully understand or comprehend what we were talking about, because it did transition. We sort of morphed and changed a little bit over time, and so some of that direction didn't come from me specifically. So I wasn't in the same state of mind. Right. And so it took me a while to sort of like, okay, catch up. This is what we're talking about now. And then kind of go from there. I think everything that was all the insight that came from these workshops and these sessions were very valuable. I think there was a lot, it didn't change, my opinion or my direction, but what the most value I got out of these sessions was just hearing the community's feedback or their impression of what, these thoughts are. We may make a statement or say something, and then getting a reaction from the community. That was very valuable, understanding what their response was to all that. That's the value I think I got mostly out of all of this.
Tõnis, Caue, do you have also some, like, how do you feel like through the events where you didn't participate? Was it easy to catch up? Did you get the context when you did join up, or did it also felt like falling behind in some sense?
Tevo, I always check the board, so the general idea I get from there. I'd like to ask if I may, Kurt, a question. Kurt, you are a tech guy and a developer and such. These workshops are kind of theoretical, not coding itself. Personally, did you lack some of this technical side of it as a developer, not as much as a community member? And if you lack this, how this could be improved to attract more developers to this workshop as proposers?
Yeah, no, good question, Caue. I think in this particular case, it wasn't at a stage where developing would have been a best use of time, because we could develop it one way and then the response from the community could just be, I don't like it, or that's not at all how I operate or how we operate. So it was at the stage of actually collecting the common path, common, constructs of how these communities actually would use the tool. So I didn't feel any need to actually start developing and then reach out to the developers during this particular process. But now we're at the stage, I feel like, where, okay, we want to actually start building. And those are two different audiences. You're completely right. They're generally two different audiences. Developer thinks their way through the environment a specific way, and they tend to ignore the reality of the community around them. So it was good to start that process with just your general, your general user, your general person, contributor, participant, whatever, and getting that feedback. Then taking it into, well, then maybe we do a workshop and actually build it out and see what that looks like. And then maybe even taking that back to the community. Well, here was your vision. What do you think about it? What's your feedback on this particular implementation? So, and again, those are different audiences. So the format or where you acquire those participants, like IOG's Discord server and Swarm's Discord server might be more relevant to the developers than Catalyst, because a lot of people that go into Catalyst aren't developers. So I guess if it was a smaller scoped project where they were actually building during these workshop sessions, or during that time period, 12 weeks, whatever it is, having specific sessions for, here's ideation phase, here's building phase, and then here's retrospective or feedback phase. I think that'd be extremely valuable.
One question would be, what are your next steps related to open source AI community collaboration framework? So the thing we're building, now you gathered a bunch of this insight and trying to kind of look it from different ways. We ran through the experiment we have been running. Or can you use this information, and what are your next steps?
Yeah, this was a large scoped project, and so there's a lot of information in there. I think our next step is really to just go into the Miro board, review the plethora of information, and try to refine it down to extracting, the high level bullet points of what we need to put into our proposal, and then start reviewing the context of the Miro board for more details to support those bullet points. So we're going to continue to pursue the proposal itself and get it built. I think there's enough information in the Miro board to get a proposal mostly built, but it's going to be an act of like refining the information and ingesting it and trying to summarize it into a proposal. Yeah, some of the things we got out of that was the risks, what are some of the biggest security concerns, and making sure that we address those, because if quite a few of them hadn't come up prior. So now we're made aware of some of the things that people are concerned about, and make sure that we address that in the proposal itself. So that was actually very, very valuable, getting that type of information. That way we can address it, preemptively in the proposal.
Will the proposal be out this fund? Is there a chance the community can read it?
I think, that's our goal, but we have like 5 other proposals too that we're gearing up for as well. So it may just be a matter of prioritization and which one comes first. But I've been pushing heavy on that one. We need collaboration, a collaboration framework just in general. When you have one project and another project and they want to work together to a common goal, how do you even start that conversation? Assessing the values, what value does this one entity have versus this one? How would they actually amplify the combined value, and what's the deliverables? What are the goals of this relationship? That's all built into the framework, and we'd like to expand on that. So hopefully Fund 10, we'll see it.
Nice. I think one final question for me would be, do you think we delivered on the proposal that perhaps for all the people in the room?
Absolutely. I mean, I think the scope in which we started out with really challenged the system. I mean, right, it was 3 iterations before I think we landed on that particular problem statement. It really challenged the participants to be present and active and aware of what's going on. It was a tough one to get through, and we completed the whole thing. So I think it went really well. However, the use case, my use case, made it a bit difficult. And then one of the challenges that I saw was, because the venue, right, the venue for the workshop, the sessions were done in different communities, LATAM and Catalyst and Swarm, SingularityNet, all the usual stuff. You got different participants kind of joining in, and there was probably a good 45 minutes where they had to sort of catch up and orient themselves and figure out what the context is, because it was deep, material and deep information. So it took, because it was a new venue each time, it took them a while, I feel like, to really catch on. And then that was when contribution value started coming from the conversation. So in our case, I think it might have been better if we had more consistent of the actual participants, but that's a challenge on its own. And if this was a smaller scoped proposal, it might have worked flawlessly, something you can catch on really quickly, and then people are actually contributing their value quickly. That could be the case. It was just this one was challenging, I think.
I love it that it was actually challenging, because it did stress all the ways to collaborate, because it's technically it is like one part of collaboration. But how do you feel like, did we deliver on proposal, and why do you think that?
Do you?
I think we did. I think we actually did double time.
I think in the past, Tevo, they used to, in the past, we usually output some proposals. But this time, again, we are in a non-convention times, we were. So I think the workshop part, providing workshop, making this, putting in place and make available, yes, but to get the usual proposal accomplished, that in past we had to track some of the proposers who attended the workshop and to see if they have successful proposals, and we can kind of complete our thinking if we actually delivered everything or not. But generally, according to the proposal and to the planning, I think yes, considering our times, the cooldown period and everything, I think yes, it was delivered. For the team, was great progress. The shrinking from 2 hours to 40-50 minutes each session It was great, and I really hope, Tevo, now that F10 will be launched, people will start to access it and start to viewing it and see, because in the template we had that, we seen that movement of people going, and we can see that in I hope in the video viewers. I think yes, I think we delivered, considering what was going on. But for us, beyond than the formal scope, we gotta see what proposals are being presented in F10 that was originated in the workshop, or the workshop contributed to their development. I think that's the key for the team. For reporting the formal scope, yes, we delivered. We attend the proposal. You make the proposal. You change the proposal, make a plan. We follow through that plan, and was delivered. So yes, but for the team, I believe with this progress of the videos and everything, we will attract flow, and hopefully we can see the proposers using the workshop.
Tõnis, do you want to share your opinion?
I'm just glad that Curtis found this workshop useful and found some good feedback from the community. And although we don't have a finished proposal to give out, at least we have proof of how the workshop and all the chapters work, and we have proved that people take this template and they use it on their own projects, and also that they watch the videos and they find it useful.
I think we have done a good deal of retrospective. Does anybody have any final questions, remarks, and discussions, points they want to bring up?
Yeah, Tevo, I do. There's two main value propositions that I saw evidently in the mini proposal workshops. One, you guys definitely help with the proposal process. For somebody who's new, doesn't know what the proposal process is or even how to start writing it, that's definitely the advantage that they gain from going through the MPW workshops. And it's vastly valuable, especially to somebody who's new to Catalyst. And then the second major value proposition I saw is that your network of people that you can connect the right, community participants with the right interesting topics or projects. However, those two in a way contradict each other. Either you're reaching out for community participation, and then there's less progress, I guess you could say, on the 10 stages of the proposal making process. Basically, when it's your team and the proposer, you guys can hammer through those 10 steps pretty quickly. Or alternatively, involve the community and get larger amounts of feedback. But that does slow down, right? That progress. So finding the balance between leveraging your two value propositions, I think went very well, and I can't wait to see the next iteration looks like and see how that progresses. But those, I just wanted to point out, those are the two main values I saw in this process, and how can we amplify or focus on those two particular deliverables. For
going forward to the next sessions, that is definitely going to be involved some AI. Because before, when I prepared the course management, I didn't even know I could use LLMs and have like some prompts to take in the data we are providing and like curate the workshops in order to use it with AI to already give like proposal chapters or some drafts to work with. But yeah, thank you for the insights. and this information. I think it, like also Caue kind of mentioned, this project, even though as a proposal is not closed, it doesn't mean the project is gone or the material is gone. It's now going to live, and I personally will going to be using. Somebody asks, hey, how do I write a proposal? I'm going to spam him all the links he will need, all the documents he will need, and you can bet one of these links will be these sessions we have been creating and the templates we have been creating. So for sure, the new people will be getting onboarded, and those who are just feel like they need more some insight, all of this material is for everybody to use and onboard to get this spark of idea started. Start with questions, ideate on that, and build it into something that can be proposed to the community.
The mini proposal workshop guide, Tevo, you should make available.
Quite how to get to use me. Yeah.
No, you just send the guide to newcomers. Say, oh, there you go, everything you need.
I did make one thing. I made a document and pulled all the relevant, like the most required information, so that those who don't like to open up Miro boards can at least do it on document. So yeah, for those who are watching it from YouTube, thanks for watching. This was mini proposal retrospective. I hope you learned quite a bit of the project itself and the content and what we do here. And if you found it interesting, you will find all the relevant links under the description. And if you want even more details and you're running workshops or on your own, then you will find the closing report there, where there will be much more details and statistics of how our project went. Thanks for watching, and see you out in the community.